Good afternoon. My name is Louis Alamia. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's a Facilities Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, July 24th, 5 o'clock p.m. Agenda item number 1, call meeting to order, conduct roll call. To my right, we have Ms. Carmen Gonzalez, Vice President of the Board. To my right also, we have Ms. Letty Garcia, School Board Member. We have myself, Luis Alamia, Board Chair for the Facilities Committee. And to my left, Board President David Torres. And of course, to my immediate left as well, Dr. Mario Salinas, Superintendent of Schools. This establishes quorum for today. Number 2, certification of public notice. Dr. Mario Salinas.
Yes, sir. I certify that the agenda was posted as required by the Texas Open Meetings Act.
Very good. Item number 3, update on Canterbury drainage and remediation improvements presented by SDI Engineering. Dr. Anthony Garza.
Yes, sir. We have Dalia Guzman here from SDI that will be presenting on this item.
Put my glasses on. Let's see. Okay. Good afternoon, Superintendent, board members. We're representing SDI Engineering. We apologize that Mr. Posadas is not available today, but I have been working with the project on a daily basis, so I'll be able to provide an update on that. Completion for this section was completed on June 12, 2025. On the reconstruction progress for Canterbury Elementary, this is just a layout of the school as it is. The orange sections are the sections that were most affected by the flooding, by the waters, and this is what was addressed. And it's important because I'll tell you some things that happened as we proceeded with the project. So our project deadline is July 30th, which is coming up in, I think, the end of next week and a half. But we are happy to report that the flooring was completed July the 10th. The HVAC duct cleaning was completed, July 14th. All the millwork was completed July 21st. The drywall on walls that needed to be repaired were July 11th. And then we started with a cost of $600,000. But we did have some areas that were not originally addressed that needed to be worked on. And so we had some restroom partitions that were thrown away, that had to be replaced, some millwork in room 2, and then there was some weather stripping that was done to protect the school from any future water damage. And so that totaled to $24,272. And we have at a minimum a savings of $50,000 for this portion of the work. And yes. Actually, this was just, we completed this actually today, but we will provide this for you as soon as we're done with this. We'll print some out for you. There was some betterment that was, we had some change orders for some painting of the entire school, of the affected areas in the classrooms. So all the walls in the affected classrooms with a change order for $88,000 was completed. The hallways on the bottom half of the entire school was completed. The music room, computer lab painting of the entire walls were completed. And then the door frames and the trim around the all the hallways that were affected were completed. We had some floor repairs that needed to be done because as custodians washed and waxed the floors, we had some, for safety issues, the floor tiles were coming up. And so we did have a change order for $11,647.20 to repair those floors. And then the library wrap, that's the only portion that has not been completed at this time, for $24,935. But this is something separate and apart from SLR's construction. Their portion, SLR, Mr. Renteria is here, they have completed all the work at Canterbury Elementary.
On the library wrap, in talking to Gilbert Renteria, he told me that the tile, he got discounts on the tile to the tune of $25,000 we're going to use to wrap the library. I'm going to approve that project tomorrow morning. Yes, that wrap. And they're just waiting for my approval, and tomorrow I'll send my approval. It's a 2-day job.
So we don't have a final payout yet, but we do know at least at the minimum we have a $50,000 savings.
Dr. Salinas, real quick, that was my idea. I didn't realize it was that much money. But
But-
but it's worth it. I think it's very well worth it.
I'll tell you, on that, once the other principals see that,
Yes,
they're going to want it in their school.
it's very nice,
Right.
very well worth it. But I didn't realize it was that.
It's $25,000. Yes, sir.
So, Ms. Dalia, you mentioned that there was a savings of 50,000. Is that part of the 25,000 also from what you mentioned a bit ago?
This is the original, from the original 600,000.
Okay.
We are reconciling at this time, that's why we don't have an exact amount as for the savings, because there were some areas that were not, not that they were not touched, but not needed. And I'll show you as we go on into the presentation what we're talking about.
Okay.
So our deadline, or the deadline for the contractor was July 30th. So their portion is done. The return to the school for their portion of the work to start preparing and waxing the floors was going to be July 30th. We're ahead of schedule on that. The floors have all been waxed with the exception of the music room, computer lab, the gym, and the hallway, because they're moving the furniture currently from the gym back to the classrooms. And I'll show you a photo of that in just a second. And then the rest is just when the timeline that we had for ourselves to make sure and we ensured that the project would be complete before teachers return. So in the affected classrooms, we have new flooring that was installed and the classroom walls painted. You can see it looks nice and shiny. The teachers are going to be very happy when they see this. New millwork. This is the section of the classroom that had to be reconstructed. So in the 16 classrooms, this was replicated to what they had before. To the right side, and I'll show you in another picture, I don't know if I can go back. Yes, I can. So this wall, this cabinet here, and this cabinet here, that was part of salvaged material. Because it was on a base, they were able to remove the base, reconstruct the base, and repurpose and reuse the cabinets.
Good. It's real good. Yeah.
In the hallways, you can see the bottom half here, that was repainted, and this, like we said, was in the whole school. Library had new flooring and then millwork salvage. So all the cabinetry here was salvaged. The top section here, that was added to that to bring it back to original height. This is a picture of the music room. It hasn't been waxed yet, but it is complete. It received new floor and the classrooms painted, the walls painted. The ducts in all of the 16 classrooms and all the affected areas were all cleaned. Cafeteria has new floor. It doesn't look like this anymore because Child Nutrition is working on a new facelift for the cafeteria, so they're in process of painting and refurnishing the cafeteria dining area. Weatherproofing, we mentioned that we added a small budget to weatherproof because we did have a rain during this construction time. I was there that evening. Water was still seeping in and coming in, and at that point was when Dr. Salinas approved a change order to weather strip the perimeter of the school. This is coordination with staff. This is what the gym, I'm not even going to say what it looked like because a lot of the furniture from here is already into the classrooms. But this is the process that we're in right now. It's returning the classroom furniture back to the rooms. And this is what a classroom looks like with their furniture returned to the classroom. So they have boxes and boxes to go through, as well as other stuff that they already had. We tried to help the teachers as best we could. We put my principal hat on, and how can we help the teachers with this, because it's going to be overwhelming when they get there. So you can kind of see little rows here. We made some numbers for the custodians that went and assisted, and fixed assets and maintenance that went and helped, are helping currently, 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and so forth, so that at least they're grouped in some sort of organization so that they're not looking for things in different boxes. They don't know what's in these boxes because the restoration company is the one who packed everything, but at least what was in one section will be together. So we tried to help the teachers in that way. That's all I have for Canterbury Elementary. Do we have any questions?
Just for the record, we have Mrs. Dominga Vela and Ms. Leti Flores joining us today for the facilities meeting. Thank you.
And can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, and ma'am, going back to the savings, it came from what again? Because I know you mentioned 25,000 and you mentioned 50.
Well,
Is that one total or is it two separate totals?
We have not completely reconciled all of that, so we will have a better number once we work with our contractor, and so that we can see what the final number will be. But the 50,000 comes from a combination of things, but millwork that was not done, not needed, because we reused the book room, we reused all the shelving in the book room. The library there were a lot of shelves in the library, so there's some savings there. The painting in the library we didn't have to do, so it's a combination of a few things. But working together with Mr. Renteria and SLR, we'll have a better number as to the complete savings for the project.
The 25,000 is not what is an amount that the contractor gave to me yesterday afternoon. So it's not part of her presentation. That amount was a discussion I had with the contractor, which amounted to a $25,000 discount on his tile that he asked me we could use, that he told me you could use on your library wrap.
Wow, so he actually saved
Yes.
the district
He
money,
could have kept
but
the money,
yet
but he-
used it to do other
Right.
things for the facility.
Correct.
Wow, well, thank you.
So, in addition, their scope called for painting the accent walls. Mr. Renteria and his team took care of all the walls in the classroom for the classroom teachers as well.
Wow, well,
So-
thank you.
I'd like to comment, first of all, the recommendation by our board to hire SDI to help us with this project. Obviously, reap benefits. It was done early, it was done well, the quality of the work was good. The partnership, the cooperation and partnership between SDI and SLR contractors, like a ball in the glove, it worked beautifully. I'd like to commend Dalia, you and Isael and the contractors for the work that you all did. The board has seen the work. It's a pleasant thing to go out there and see the school the way it came out.
Thank you, we appreciate that. Canterbury holds a special place in my heart. So
I'm sure.
I was telling Dr. Salinas earlier that I think I spent more time there these last 5 weeks than I have in the 5, 6, 7 years that I've been gone from Canterbury. So it was good to be home.
Well, that's good. That's good.
I'd like to add that we had an official walkthrough yesterday with SDI, SLR, superintendent, myself, and just to see everything that she's showing you. And SLR is 100% complete with the work. The remaining work of waxing and putting the items back is on the district, and we're on it. And we have been sending additional maintenance and custodians over there, and the superintendent just approved, and we already told the principal that she can bring in some teacher aides to help in those classrooms with those unboxing stuff and help the teachers if they're available.
Okay.
And we're going to pay them daily rate. The superintendent approved that yesterday. So
Okay.
we have 2 weeks to go to get
Yeah.
the stuff out of the boxes.
Right,
And
right.
we're going to get it done.
Right, and making sure each of the boxes go to the right teacher, the rooms of those teachers.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Okay,
one thing
great.
that the restoration company did do. They did mark, as they packed the box, they put the room number and box number. So that was helpful in making sure that we get everything back to the correct teacher.
That's
And then there
great.
were some teachers that were assigned from one classroom to another, so the custodians had a bigger task of organizing all of
Yeah.
that. But everyone has been working really hard. The custodians have been doing a phenomenal job. So congratulations to ECISD as well as the contractors for finishing not just on time, but early, because the staff needs that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Minga.
I wanted to ask you all, is that's correct, I can speak out, as you said right now, that the boxes are in the classrooms for the teachers, and that the principal principal has been told that she can bring some paraprofessionals in.
Yes.
Are the teachers going to be allowed to come in, Dr. Salinas, a day or two earlier? Because
You can go whenever.
we know our teachers. All of us in this room know our teachers. Even under normal circumstances, they want to come back yesterday.
We can allow the teachers, what we're not allowing is the parents, because there's a lot of work.
No,
there,
no,
right?
but the teacher really
yes.
needs, I think in this particular case, a little bit more time than the normal first day that they come back, because they do have to
Yes.
deal with a lot, get that room set up, find their things, and make it their own. So if you all can work that out with the principal and allow those teachers
Yes.
to come back even a little bit earlier than everybody else, I think it'll add to the beauty of what is happening here also. So, yes, thank you. I was going to go an extra mile and say assign a parapro to each teacher, but I know that Adele will hang in.
Well, each teacher has a
Well, no,
parapro.
Oh, okay.
we make sure that the teacher,
Each teacher has a
because
parapro.
they were talking about having the custodians and the people from maintenance, so they need the teacher aide.
Each
The teacher aide
teacher-
is the one that's going to know where to place the materials.
Right. Every
So-
one of those classrooms, Ms. Vela?
Yes, sir.
Is a teacher and a teacher aide.
Good, excellent, excellent. Good job. Thank you so much.
And
That's
there's
it.
still some more coordination to be done because the gym can be emptied and then that needs to be washed and waxed and so forth. But we still have to move the contents that are at, that were taken, that are at Ramirez, and I'm not sure where else they're at, but those also need to be returned to Canterbury. So there's a lot for the teachers to do, and they would greatly appreciate it. I was fortunate enough to see the teachers a night or two ago, and I saw them at a rosary. And of course, they're all asking and anxious and happy
they want to
that
see it.
they're, they know that sometimes it gets ugly and then it gets better, right? And so, there's a little mess right now, but they're going to have a bigger, better product once they return. So Canterbury has a great staff.
I
Ms.
think
Gus-
when they see that, what we see now, they're gonna be happy, because talk about a mess when they were in there when we first started. So they're gonna see the difference.
Yes.
It's back to normal, actually a step higher.
Yes.
Ms. Guzman, there was a question at the gym on the stage. One of the corners had a problem. Was that fixed?
Yes, that has been repaired and taken care of, yes.
Any more questions?
So Dr. Salinas, Mr. Posadas has been coming to the board in general. Are you going to do the same for this information? So that you bring the itemized information that you're talking about, so that they can see like that, the overall. He's been presenting to us where he gives us information as to how things are going.
I'll coordinate that.
So I'm asking that we continue to
He's
do
not
that.
gonna be here, but we'll bring in that.
Whoever it's going to be, that he's been giving us detailed information
Sure.
previously.
Yes.
So we can continue to do that, just so you know.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, I won't put you on the spot since he's not here, but we also need to know the numbers on the exterior. There was a lot of work done, and we've never talked about that. So just so we can know as a board what that
Okay.
was, because that entailed costs
Yes, sir. We will have all that for you.
on the work that was done outside.
Yes.
All the good. It was done properly and good and on time, like 3 or 4 days, 2 days before a rain event, right?
It's all completed.
So it was good, but just so that we all know those numbers too.
Okay, we'll make sure we provide that to you.
Yeah, and the cafeteria is going to be out of this world.
Yes.
That's going to be the big surprise.
The big reveal.
That's awesome.
Brand new cafeteria. That's the secret.
The cherry on top.
The cherry on top. Yeah.
Very good. Well, now that being said, I think we can move on to item number 4, update on Edinburgh North High School drainage improvements presented by SDI Engineering.
Good evening, board members. SDI Engineering has the privilege of designing and project managing the drainage improvements for Edinburgh North High School. Mr. Posadas has presented the project layout and the design in the past of how best to meet the needs and the drainage issues for Edinburgh North High School. I'm pleased to announce that the district and partners throughout this project have been meeting and moving along the different items that are needed to complete this project by the end of December. So the executive construction easement, an access easement that is needed off of Monte Cristo, so the trucks and the excavators and everything that's going to be moving in and out of the property, was executed and signed June 6, 2025 by the school district and Kubota Motors off of Monte Cristo. The execution and acquisition of the property that the district will need, the property that is owned by Hidalgo County Irrigation District Number 1 behind Truman Elementary, the documents, the deed without warranty and the survey and everything else that's required to execute and close this has been sent to the district on Monday, and we're hoping to execute this. I believe the board approved the purchase of the property by August 6th. Therefore, we're hoping to bring and include on the agenda the board approval of the Hidalgo County interlocal with Hidalgo County Precinct 4, Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1, and the school district. Those are the three partner entities that will be working together to make the improvements at Edinburgh North High School. So we're planning that for July 29th. That being said, we'd like to move this project along quickly and in convening with the administration, advertise for this project July 30th, the Wednesday after the board meeting, that being the first advertisement, with the second advertisement the week following, having a pre-bid meeting with any of the interested bidders, August 11th. We project opening August 20th, having a 3-week solicitation of bids, possibly scheduling a board facility meeting August 28th so that we would have preparation in time to present everything and work through any questions or items, with board consideration September 9th. Board selecting the top bidder and going into contract negotiation, thereby bringing it back the second meeting in September for approval, executing the contract within a week's time thereafter, issuing a notice to proceed October 1st. Mr. Posadas believes this is a project that can be done within 90 calendar days, thereby concluding the project by December 30th.
Are we discussing this with precinct or the drainage district already on that type of a timeline, which is good? They have projects all over the county.
Right.
So that's going to be key to be able to coordinate to make sure that if that's the case,
Yes,
90 days, I think, they need to know over there. I'm sure y'all are on that, but I'm just talking
we're
about
on
it.
it, yes.
So the board can also know that that's going to be key because they're doing the heavy machinery.
Correct.
Yeah. So, I just
Within
like-
this timeline, though, we have to give consideration because the marching field, the band practice field will be impacted, so we need to make sure we coordinate the work at Edinburgh North to ensure that marching season and pigskin and all that, they have the opportunity to move through their program without any interruption.
So your project layout still shows participation by the city of Edinburgh. That's incorrect, right?
No, sir, there is some participation, and I'm going to show you what that participation is. It's not as large, but there is some participation. The Hidalgo County Drainage District and county itself, Precinct 4, we want to thank them because they're helping quite a bit in alleviating the cost to the district to make the improvements. This interlocal agreement has already been signed and executed by the Drainage District and the county with the judge. So basically, on this first page, the obligations of the Drainage District, you'll see 1A is to excavate and haul the material as shown in the attached set of plans. ECISD's obligation is to prepare at its cost the plans and specifications for the project, and that's what you all have done already so far. And the county obligation is to haul the excavated material. So those are the three basic partnerships of each entity and their responsibility. So it's a standard agreement. There's not anything that's unusual about this and what I've seen with the interlocals that they've had with other public entities. This has already been given to ECISD, and I believe they have forwarded it to their legal counsel to begin review. And as I mentioned, it has already been executed by Judge Cortez. All that is pending is ECISD. Now, to answer your question, Mr. Torres, the participation by the City of Edinburgh is to accept at an in-kind cost of $237,000, accepting the material that's going to be disposed, and the city not charging the fee for disposing material, tree foliage, anything that may need to be discarded. And they valued that at $237,848.
That's pretty high, because I think we're moving all our soil to our property, right?
The property that we have out there.
And there's no brush on that area, that's just field. So I'm just saying, I'm glad, but I think that's a very high number. The only trees I see here are the ones inside the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, we're glad to move past that.
So the total cost, the estimated cost for the project is $3,287,000, assigning the City of Edinburgh share that they valued in their in-kind agreement of $237,848. The Hidalgo County Precinct 4 and the Drainage District, their share on those items of excavating and hauling out the major portion, the most expensive portion of the project relative to the partners, $1.3 million. So that leaves approximately ECISD share around 50% of $1.655. So if this is acceptable preliminarily with ECISD, we'll start speaking to the Drainage District and Precinct 4 to see when they can start that work. But as I mentioned, that will have to be coordinated around the extracurricular activities that are happening on the property.
So one quick question for me.
Sure.
And Isael's the engineer, y'all are the engineer group. I see elevations on something here. I saw something. Are y'all going to coordinate with the Drainage District to make sure that they don't take too much, or because there's going to be slope, right? That's what we
Yes, on the
talked about.
plans, all the drainage, all the elevations are there. However, the fine grading of the property will be the responsibility of the contractor.
Oh, okay, so it'll be separate. They're going to do bulk, mass, but you will coordinate
Correct.
that. Okay.
They're going to do the rough work
The rough work, yeah.
of the big hauling, the big excavating,
And you'll fine
but the
tune it.
contractor that is selected by the board will be the one to do the fine grading for the final elevations.
Good. I think we all needed to know that, yeah.
Yes.
When will we be going out for that? When will we be going out for the contractor on that day?
That's next, it's on the agenda.
We put it out for bid Wednesday.
It's part of the bid.
Yeah.
This project is long overdue. Ever
Yes.
since that school opened, it's flooded.
Yeah.
Finally, we're going to do something.
Very long overdue.
35 years overdue, to be exact.
Oh.
Mr. Alamia, we recommend that you take this interlocal agreement to the board meeting on Tuesday for full board approval. Okay.
I'd like to give a shout out to Kubota Motors, JP English, the business off Monte Cristo that is allowing the district access through their property. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are asking for some items, but not anything out of the ordinary. And I think the most is a gate that will remain. You know, a gate is needed for access to the property, but it's going to be a gate that will remain. So they were very kind, they were very cooperative, and they wanted to do whatever needed to be done to assist the district because they wanted to be good neighbors. And I just thought it was important. I share that with the district and the board members so that they know the partnership of that business that's a neighbor.
To thank them, and I'm
Thank
pretty
you.
sure you had a lot to do with that. I think they're Rotarians, aren't they? Or they're
Yes, sir.
involved in Rotary. She's a Rotarian, and so all those connections make a long. And we found out Isael has also with insurance people, and just knowing people and being good about it always goes a long way.
It does. It does.
Thank you.
So the bid packet and everything has already been delivered to the district. There's a few adjustments that need to be made. I spoke to Amato, messaged him earlier, but we're ready to go for the most part. If you grant me the authority, I'll get with the Drainage District, mostly Mr. Sassine, to get started and him seeing the calendar. But even though we have this calendar, the excavation really can't start happening till maybe November. because I think band, pigskin's October, but everything that's happening, maybe they're in
Football practice.
with football, the playoffs and stuff like that.
So we're gonna work around, which is good. We're
Yes.
gonna let them be students and do their thing.
That's priority,
and
but
work.
everything else can start being
Okay, good.
installed, the drain lines and the inlets and everything else
As
that
much
needs
as
to happen.
possible. Good.
Yeah.
Good. We were all worried about that.
Yeah.
The tree foliage, the pruning, the removal, the discarding, all that can happen and be worked on while the timing of getting the drainage district in to do the excavating.
That's kind of what I was alluding to. That way they
Yeah.
come in at the right time.
So
Because
we're
they're
thinking-
doing other work in West Laco and other
Yeah,
places.
November, December.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, that being said, everything is great and wonderful, and we're very thankful to everyone for such a great job. But if you're saying that this will begin in November, and, hurricane season ends November 4th, do we have a plan in place for the water that will potentially come to North? Because all of us in this room, especially us 7, and you, Dr. Salim, we're going to get those calls. So let's work on Plan B so that we are able to answer our community and our North people, because this is great and wonderful. It's a brand new palace, fine. But what's going to happen when we start with the rainy season, and what is going to be our answer to our community at Edinburgh North?
I think the flow back, Dr. Morrison, the flow back that goes into the backflow for Rendra, that's big. And then
Good.
there's some lifts that according to the studies Isael did, water flows from like juniors on the highway, comes fiercely down to that area.
Yes.
You're showing some high areas. Those will help. I mean, it maybe divert it a little bit, like Ms. Vella's saying. So
That is part of the plan.
the start, the beginning
think
part.
another area, if I may add, is a lot of the tree pruning and cleaning and keeping the drain
Yeah.
Good.
that.
That will help.
grates free from any debris and leaves
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So that we can communicate that
Start
to
that.
people, to our community, to our staff, and say, look, we're on it. We're on it no matter what happens, no matter how much we're going to go with this project. But in the meanwhile, we have a plan in place in case it starts raining.
Right.
Okay? So
good.
that we answer our community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Morrison, for that presentation. Moving on to item agenda number 5, review and recommend action on a request for proposal RFP 25-73, contracting construction services for Bill Garza, MS, and transportation shop roofing improvements, and authorize administration to negotiate contract with the highest ranking contractor. Dr. Garza?
Yes, I'm going to pass it over to Raymond Villalobos. He's overseeing facilities for right now.
He needs a mic.
We forgot to tell you, we don't have it.
Good afternoon, Board. So we went out for bids. Okay, so the project went out for bids early June. We got 3 bids that we received right before we left for the summer break. There was 3 vendors that submitted. Those are the ones that were ranked, as you can see on the tally sheet. The backup information is shown in your booklet. If you have any questions, we are open to answering them.
And what are the recommendations?
The recommendation is,
Is it highlighted in yellow?
yes, it is.
The recommendation we have is the ranking,
I see.
but we don't want to recommend it.
Discuss.
One of the questions that I have, Raymond, just for transparency, I know that Airco Tech is an HVAC company. This is a roofing project. Can you explain how an HVAC company does roofing projects?
Yes. So we also noticed that when we started to evaluate the proposals, So one of the first things that we looked for in the packet is previous experience. Do they have previous roofing experience? Yes, they do. They do have it listed on their proposal. Also, part of our due diligence is checking the references.
Let me stop you for just a bit. Do you have a copy of the proposal?
Yes, we do have a copy available.
Can you pass it to the board just so they can review?
We'd like to have all that information, like I told Dr. Morrison prior to that. We like to read, and this board really gets into it. I don't
We
know if
look
y'all know
into
that.
it.
This
And
board
we
gets
take
into it.
notes.
We don't
We put
mind
notes
if you
on
give us a
everything.
big thing like that. Dr. Salinas gives us stuff like that, so we really like it. So.
Okay, you were saying, sir?
Yes, and so we also, as part of the review process of the rankings for any vendor that submits a proposal, is we do verify the references. So we do call the references that they have listed, especially for the ones that have to do with roofing projects. They do list several roofing projects here locally, specifically with neighboring school districts. We did call those references. They do check out. They were happy with the work that was performed by the vendor.
The roofing work?
The roofing work, yes, correct. And also, another step that we did, because we were thinking the same thing, okay, the company is primarily known for mechanical work. So we did reach out to the company, and we did ask the question. You're submitting for roofing work. Historically, you're known for being a mechanical company. So we spoke to the owner, and he provided the logic behind it. He mentioned they have a roofing sub in-house. And the reason he did that was so he could have better quality control. In other words, he wouldn't have to rely on having to go out, hire an independent roofer, and then not have any control over any issues that arose. So if he has somebody in-house, it's easier for him to kind of have more control over what happens out there on the project. And that's the reason he gave us. We also did ask him, this is a spray foam project. That's the type of roofing system that the architect designed. Do you have experience with that? Is your roofer or whoever you have in-house, are they certified? And he did mention that, yes, they have experience with the spray foam roof and that his guys are certified.
Have they done work with ECISD before?
They have, yes.
When's the last project they did?
They worked on the ESSER projects. Yes.
Well, I've noticed that since I came on the board, ERO is the architects on these roofs. So they've designed, I think you mentioned to me, Dr. Salinas, that you like it. You like the spray foam approach, and you're seeing that it works, or you told me that one time.
Yes, sir. If I can comment.
Because they're all designed for that.
Yes. When we first explored polyurethane foam roofs, we needed to do De La Viña and Zavala. Our budget for a typical mod bid asphalt roof, we couldn't afford to do both, but when we did the polyurethane roof, the foam roof, we were able to do both. So we had never done that, Robert Estrada and I. So one of the vendors that does these type of roofs, we asked for some samples of the work that they do, and the vendor happened to do a lot of work for the university. So we made arrangement to go with the director of facilities for the university. We climbed their buildings, walked on their roof so that they could show us, the UTRGV, the work that this particular vendor did there, and they did many, many buildings. And Robert and I were satisfied with the director of facilities and his comments and his experience with this type of roof system. So we went ahead and for De La Viña and Zavala, went with the foam roof. We were able to do two roofs for the price of one asphalt built-up roof. And so we've had no problems. That was 6 years ago. There's no problems at all. So it's in this year, especially when our budget is tight, we wanted to go with we were going to do 4 roofs. We had $5 million to do 4 multi-purpose buildings and 5 roofs. That's a lot of work, right? Can we get it done? And we did, one of the strategies that we did is to hire one vendor to do the 4 multi-purpose rooms to give us a better price for the design, and one contractor to give us a better price for the construction, and 2 vendors to speed up the roof projects and lower the price. And so doing all of that and going with a foam roofing system, we were able to get all that work for less than $5 million. Then the La Viña and Zavala, the roof has performed no leaks at all.
That's good.
If I may ask a question. Okay, I'm sorry, what's your last name, Ramon?
Villalobos.
Okay, Mr. Villalobos, my bad. So you say that the vendor who was ranked number 1, you say that they have experience and history in doing roofing.
Correct.
Okay. I looked up everybody's, because as I've always said, we're dealing with millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars. And on this vendor, I honestly don't see, unless I'm blind, that this company does that kind of work, because all they advertise is HVAC. So now, I know we've asked for years that I've been sitting here, I've asked references. Who are the references? And I know you noted here tab 2, qualifications, experience, but we've asked time and time again for a lot of this information on each of the vendors that submit. But this one that the committee ranked number 1, they don't show anything. And you would think with the big advertisement, how they promote what they do, it doesn't state anything of roofing. So answer me that.
Yeah, so the packet that they submitted, their proposal, they show previous projects, they list them, they show the project name, the construction amount, and also the contact person. So in this case, they did, the one of the roofing projects that they listed is for PSJ ISD, the high school, and that was an ESSER project back in 2020. So they did all the mechanical work, and they also did the entire re-roofing of the entire campus.
PSA High School?
Yes.
PSJ High School.
They listed a contact person, that's who we contacted, and that's who gave us the reference.
And is that the only reference where they did a roof?
No, there was also another where they listed, I don't recall the name, but it's a South Texas Communities, it's a public housing out of San Antonio, so they have various locations throughout the state. We contacted that gentleman, that reference, and they also checked out.
Okay, so you're saying that they do roofs, but yet they don't advertise it. For being such a large company or corporation, you would think they would add it on there. All they show is HVAC. To me, it's a big concern, because if we're going to spend millions of taxpayer dollars that they'll be awarded, how are we going with someone that doesn't advertise? And you're saying statewide. Why doesn't it advertise it? You would think they would want to show all the different jobs, duties that, the sales that they provide. I don't know. To me, it's fishy. It's really fishy. And I'm not in agreement with this vendor because it's fishy. And this is a large corporation. And they, like you said, they do work in San Antonio. They do all over. But if it's a large corporation, let me ask you this. If you had to hire them for your personal project, and you're seeing these 3 vendors, and 2 of them do roofing, but yet you're going to pick the one that doesn't have any roofing?
Which one does roofing also?
The second and the third, those, because there was only 3 that submitted bids,
Which is part of the
which is
problem.
Brazos, Urethane, and SLR. But to rank this air-cooled tech when they don't advertise anything?
So Brazos does roofing also? They do?
Yes.
Part of the problem that I've seen is that, I mean, I'll just be straight up, is that SLR gets all our projects, and ERO is always the architect. They get everything, and it's okay. He does good work. He helps us and all that. It's just not good in the long run when you're giving all your work just to one company all the time. That's just the way it is. You're never going to pass a bond.
And you're right,
You're never going to pass a
Mr.
bond,
Torres.
especially if they're $200,000 less, because we're about saving money. That's what we do here.
Yes, and that's
So-
why we question everything.
But, you know, if there's references there, we have to, I mean, just, I don't know, the board can do whatever we want, but this is another reason why I'm saying that we don't get a big volume of people putting bids, because everybody knows that SLR and ECISDs, they're going to get it. So
see-
it doesn't help the taxpayers because we don't have a broad amount of people, because that's what's happening. So I'm also of the point that I agree, but we also need to give people a chance to perform. I don't know where Oracle is, and you probably have a point. But if you say you check them out, we have to start developing something where, what if someday SLR gets sued? What if he goes bankrupt? What if all of a sudden one of his vehicles, I'm in business, one of my guys crashes and they sue me and I'm done? What fallback do we have to have a second person that can do this? We're not developing anything. We're not developing anything.
One of the things that we've always done, sir, that we've been pretty consistent, is go with a low bid as long as it's a valid bid.
Valid.
So-
It has to be valid.
So
That's right.
I did ask,
Relying on you to tell
and
us.
I did ask Ms. Garcia, yesterday, when I saw, when they presented this to me, the Air Cool Tech, I know they're a mechanical company. I asked, do they do roof? And if they do, check the references. They did the entire PSJ high school roof. That's a lot. It's a big school. And the reference panned out. So,
Let me ask Ms. Garcia, and it's a good valid question about where does it show us here as far as legalities or whether they have litigation pending? Where do we check that? I mean, I've been listening, and I agree with that, because you don't want to hire a company that, you know, doesn't pay their subs or gets sued, but where does it show that? Do they check off a check mark?
What page is that?
Do they verbally just tell us?
Also
Or?
non-applicable, citation non-applicable, litigation non-applicable. So they're referencing those questions that we ask them, we're putting them right here. And then they put it on.
27.
And when you call for references, do you write down the name of the individual that you spoke to? And
Yes, especially because they're listed on the actual list. That's how we get the information from.
okay, it's just upsetting to me, again, and I'm going to harp on the amount of money, and it's not chump change either, and it's your tax dollars. If you live in the district, it's all of us. So we have to be mindful and watchful. What I also want to say, the other vendor that came in number 3, in 2018, he insulted sitting board members, and he threatened to sue and threatened board members that board members were in collusion with a certain bid. So how do we do work with these types of vendors when they threaten board members or saying that anyone is in collusion because of the bids, because they didn't get it? This happened in 2018.
yeah, it had to do with that, I remember that.
Okay.
They,
So how do we do business and award vendors who threaten?
they're not being awarded, they're ranked
They're just being ranked.
They're ranked number 3.
I know, but just the thought that we're entertaining
We
this, sir.
have to. They submitted a proposal.
And I get it, and we have to. But you also have to think, why is it, like Mr. Torres has said, and we have said in the past, why do we have 1 or 2 or 3 vendors bid? Like he said, hey, Mr. Torres says, not the same one should be getting it. Okay, but why don't others submit bids?
I don't get that, yeah. I don't know.
That's a concern. There's something going on. And I also want to say that we have an employee, Ms. Longoria, who speaks very rude to our vendors. And they said, we don't want to even submit anymore because of the backlash of the way our vendors are handled. This is not fair for our vendors. It's open to everyone, and everybody should get a piece of the pie. Everyone. But when we have administration who get paid by taxpayer dollars and they speak to our vendors in an unprofessional way, it's very disturbing. Very disturbing. It's disturbing for me, and it should be for everyone else. So something needs to happen. How the administration, you all, Mr. Amado and Mr. Ramon, you all need to do a better job here. I don't know what's going on.
Who's on our architecture rotation list? It's your own. Who else, Dr. Stevens?
There's several. On call?
Well, like whenever we have projects, I mean, I'm still learning.
Architects, we use. I mean,
Do all the roofing? Earl just does all our roofing? No, there's other people.
No. These roofers. Who did the design for this roof?
We had the CG5 Architects.
Oh, they're also
Yeah,
part of that.
and then ERO Architects.
Right. The roof at multi-purpose buildings was.
But they're assigned just as projects come. They're not one for roofing, one for this,
We
one
did separate RFQs for those projects. So we tracked the submittals, and then you guys interviewed them.
Right. We selected a group.
We selected the group of
But
architects.
like,
These aren't on call.
but like, as we need work done, do we have one architect that just does roofing and one that does
On these
structures?
big projects, we do our separate RFQs for these separate projects. For these big projects, we do separate RFQs.
And do we like go on rotation like this? Okay, he did one, next one is CRJ or whatever. Next one.
Of course, that's considered in the ranking of that individual RFQ for that project for the architect. Because we'll do an RFQ for the big projects. Now, the on-call ones are for small projects.
This one was an on-call?
No.
It was a big
project.
And we did it, oh, okay. Probably before I came, that's why, okay, yeah. It was here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, okay.
So-
Anyway, just information.
Remember,
I also wanna
we
ask-
limit, when we brought these projects, there was like 4 or 5 architects. One, remember we went to executive session to review them, and then we came out?
Yeah, I remember that.
This project.
We approved them. They were part of it, I know that, yeah. But my question is like, how do they get assigned projects? That group that we approved.
It was in a group. We evaluated.
It was a bunch of groups.
RFQ separately.
Separately, I get what you're saying.
We assigned them in the back.
I get you, okay.
So what I also want to add, was there a problem with our computers, the electronic bids?
Not on this one.
Not on this one?
We didn't have to fix them this one.
Okay, well, there was, I don't know if it was this one or a previous one, that there was electronic problems, and Ms. Longoria told the vendors, because when you open the bids, do you do them in front with the vendors, or you all do it in your office?
Do it with the vendors.
Okay, well, at that time, she said, we're having electronic problems. You remember, you recall? Okay, when was that, sir?
I don't know if it was for this one, but I know we've had those calls because it's an online purchasing.
Correct.
So we weren't able to give them the information for the addendum, if it was included and so forth, but we did get all that information for them.
Okay, because,
We had to wait and then to come back and we printed everything out.
okay, it just doesn't look right when the vendors are told, oh, we'll come back, we're going to go open them, we're having issues, we'll come back to you all. It should be open when the vendors are there. We have to show transparency.
No, of course, ma'am, we do.
Yeah, but it wasn't done.
No, I know, ma'am. It was just a glitch that we had that day.
And that's been the only time?
Yes,
The only time?
I think so, ma'am.
That was for this project or something?
I think it was for this project, but I would need to go back.
No,
and
it was
discuss
not for this project. It was for Canterbury and for Kawasaki.
That's when we did the extension, and I came back and we extended it for another 2 weeks.
I would personally just like to see more vendors bidding on our projects than 3, 2. We used to have 6, 8.
I think it's because of the specialized roof.
Yeah, and I understand when there's specs on our projects, you know, it does dwindle down on the amount of experience that these vendors have. But
That's
you
why I'm
know,
asking about the architect.
7 years, 8 years.
Like on the
design.
multi-use gyms, we had I think it was about 8 or 9 different vendors that participated. And it all depends on the project itself, on the turnout, sir.
Yeah.
On the turnout.
Yeah, there was a lot of interest for the 4 gyms, but part of our cost saving strategy is to select one architect and one contractor to bring the fees down.
And all I'm saying is that we need to have full transparency,
I
Dr.
agree.
Salinas. It can't be to where it's just you and Ms. Longoria going to open them and then coming back. Emails need to be sent to these vendors on a timely manner and not when she wants to get to it.
No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Let's not forget, you all are the administration. And again, your salary is from taxpayer dollars. We need to be mindful, watchful, and be full transparent.
Of course, ma'am.
And I think that we said that back in 2018, because there was a year that we had this boardroom of vendors lined up here, recall, that came to speak to the board, that they never got a chance. They never got to be put on a rotation, and we were very explicit about that, saying, and these were also Edinburgh vendors that are community leaders that give back to the community, that help us with anything when we call them. And so we asked everyone, we asked administration, please put them on a rotation and make it available to them. If they can't, or they're not able to fill that particular need that we have, but at least we gave them that opportunity. And so I think also that what has happened, hopefully not, is that they're tired of applying and they're just not going to apply. Because you asked, Ms. Garcia, and probably Mr. Torres did also, where are these people? How come they're not applying? Well, they're done. They got tired and they said, they never called me, even though the board promised that we would be on a rotation. And so they just quit applying. And that's where they are, if you want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, can I come in on that?
Sure.
For the on-call services that we have every year,
Go ahead.
we have like 5 or 6 local architects that we rotate. We don't pick, we rotate them.
Good.
And there's like 5 or 6 engineers as well that we rotate, civil, electrical, mechanical, whatever we need. As projects come up, and they come up all the time,
Yes, they do.
we to speed it up, the board approves these
Next.
on-call, and we just rotate them.
but these are smaller projects.
Smaller projects, not big projects like this.
Yeah, small.
But they are rotated.
Yes.
Good. Excellent.
So, okay. One last thing. These electronic bids, when they're submitted, and they attach documents, because they'll ask for documents. Have there been any blank documents submitted? Because the electronics, when it's submitted, you can submit a blank document, and it doesn't kick it back, saying that it doesn't have, the whatever information is needed. Is that correct?
That could be, ma'am. We would need to go back to those particular
But
bids.
sir, you work with this. You should know this.
Yes, ma'am. I would need to go back and look at those individual bids. But we do make sure that all the documents are there and make sure that everything's there and to have compliance, to make a.
When it comes to saving the taxpayer money, we need to make time and thoroughly look at everything for each project. Thoroughly, sir.
So let's swipe the next guy.
said anything.
So going back to the recommendation, you checked that they have done work before, that this type of work, that's because it was designed a certain way by ERO, so they've done this type of work? They've done it? They've done, okay. And another question is that, okay, so we're saying that if a company, because none of these have any litigation, right? They're saying that on this form, there's no litigation. They signed off, no litigation. If one were to come, if like one of these, we increase to 6 companies, Ms. Garcia has a valid point. You don't want to be doing business with people who don't pay their subs or are sued or whatever, or bad work. They would be automatically disqualified? Or let's clear that up, because I've been hearing Ms. Garcia, but it's a valid point. But what's our strategy? What do we do? What if they do have a suit?
The last time that we recommended a company that we brought to the facilities committee, not this committee, previous committee, but we also, they were a top-ranked company, but we disqualified them because they were in the middle of a lawsuit about paying clubs and things like that.
Whatever, yeah, suits.
Right. We recommend do not hire, right? Because in the end, if they don't pay, we have to pay.
Right. And like when we had, I don't know how many facility meetings back that we had vendors present, we were able to ask them questions. And we were lied to by 2 vendors. One of them was the lawsuit. The other one admitted to deficiencies and shortcuts. And again, here we are at shortcuts. Well, that raises a red flag. That's a liability. Why do we want shortcuts and put our students and staff and parents at risk to take shortcuts? We shouldn't be and I know we have to accept every bit, but we can't forget those who have admitted and who we know are in lawsuits because of the liability and the risk of injuring anyone in those buildings, whether it's schools, offices, whatever the case it is. We need to take this a little bit more seriously, and obviously you really aren't. And that's why I'm upset about this.
Maybe they can sign something that says, or they're giving you an affidavit. It's just something, because I mean, most people are going to probably put NA.
Yeah, but there is a certification.
There is? Okay, educate us. Educate us.
Now, you know what, because this is not an online project, but they have read and agreed. I have read and agreed.
I have read and agreed.
So because it's an online
It's an online deal. Okay. Let's just put some teeth into that, yeah, because of the way Ms. Garcia's asking, and it's valid.
An affidavit type of form?
Something, if it's a big point.
I'll discuss that with you to see what we can put.
Whatever that is, I don't even know what that is, but that'll help, Ms. Garcia, right? That'll help?
Yeah, no, it would help, because at the end of the day, I mean, we've kept asking for all this information, and it's never been given to us. This is the first time we see anything. I've been on the board 7 years. How long have I been asking for all this? Have you checked for the references? The liability as far as, are they in lawsuits? Are they in litigation? All of that. Because why are we awarding bids if they're not being honest with us? And we're talking taxpayer dollars.
So, do we need a motion, or are we just going to go direct, or what do we do?
Or do we have any other questions, comments?
Yes, I do. On page 26, we're looking at this, noticing us, and we saw all the other pages as to who are the committee members. But there's a name there that says the name of the person and then ERO architect. Can I just ask why? I mean,
They're the lead architect for this project.
oh, they're the architect for this project. Okay, thank you so much. That's all I needed to do. Because usually our committee is made up of us, of staff, but there aren't. Thank you so much.
Is this gentleman here, Manuel Zamora?
Yes, he's here.
Mr. Zamora, would you mind, we just have a quick question.
I think that's his employee. That's ERO.
Oh, sorry.
That's ERO.
I just had a question. I noticed that on the scoring, you did score air-cooled tech and SLR building contractors the same. What was the reason for that, where the other scores were kind of skewed?
That's just the way it added up, the numbers. I kind of felt the same way, looking at their qualifications and looking at it from a mechanical perspective as opposed to the roofing. So if you look at the individual numbers, you would see that some of the values are lower. Some of the values are lower, but it actually added up to the same weighted score for SLR. It wasn't so much as that was the bottom number. SLR did rate higher in certain areas. Also because of the qualifications and some of the stuff that they had submitted, I felt that SLR was showing a little bit more competency for the rules and for that component of work as opposed to Erica.
And that was one of the questions that I had, because I was looking at the scores from some of our other facilities members, and then I noticed that the scoring for ERO from Manuel Zamora, that they scored equal, Air-Cooltech and SLR, whereas the other scores were more skewed to Air-Cooltech over SLR. So I just wanted to find out the reasoning.
Right, and that's just the way it added up, but when you look at the first component, which was the qualifications and some of the other values at the beginning, they were actually a little bit lower, where as they ultimately SLR and some of the other ones were a little higher further down the list. So when you added all of that up, it just coincidentally added up to the same value, but
Because
the
they get some higher and some lower. and some
skewed
lower.
more for
That's right.
SLR.
Okay, thank you.
Got it.
All right, well, we do have a ranking here. I would like to ask the committee if they are in agreement and approval for the rankings, or if we would like to make a suggestion.
I'm not in agreement with the #1 ranking for that one reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement because it's $200,000 cheaper, and they're saying that they can do it, and I want to see if they can. And I want to develop a better resume of people who can do it if they can.
Well, okay. Well, I'll take those into consideration. If it's okay with the committee, would it be okay for us to take this to the full board on Tuesday, and then we can go ahead and make a final vote to see who will get this project? Would that be okay?
Yeah,
Yes?
take it to the
Okay, so
Take it to the board.
take it to the board for approval. Dr. Salinas, on Tuesday. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll take this to the full board on next Tuesday's board meeting. All right, agenda item number 6, review and recommend action on request for proposal RFP 25-79, design build services for HVAC facility improvement projects, and authorize administration to negotiate contract with the highest ranking contractor. Dr. Garza.
Yes, so there is a small typo there. It's not an RFP, it's an RFQ. And this is ranking potential vendors, qualifications and experience. There's no pricing at this time. These are ranking only for when funds become available. And the design build here is specifically targeting our HVAC systems that were not addressed by ESSER. So we were able to do 14 projects with ESSER, so the rank 15, 16, all the way to about 20. Those are the ones that we're looking at when funds become available to address with these vendors.
So this is all for HVAC?
Yes.
Okay, so I just like to mention, it's funny that it's for HVAC, so why didn't Air-Cooltech submit a bid if that's all they do is HVAC? Think about it, guys. There's 4 vendors, and it's HVAC. And this large corporation only advertises HVAC. Why didn't they submit a bid?
It could be the process, the design build process. Maybe that's not something that they do.
Oh, is this going from?
Because this requires an engineer, and they have staffing, an architect and their engineering staff to actually design. They're almost taking full ownership of the whole project instead of hiring an engineer and architect for everything. So this is the company that does it all.
Okay, each of these companies.
Yes, sir.
I don't have a problem with the recommendation. They do work all over the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Humongous, and they're credible.
And, yeah, they are. We have just for the record, on the rankings, we have E3 Integral Solutions that are ranked number 1 with an 88.6 out of 100 total scoring. There were 4 vendors, and they were each ranked by their unique qualifications, corporate and personal, program and project methodology, and textbook references. So, do we have any questions and concerns from the board?
No, sir.
Okay, well, with that being said, I would like to bring this recommendation to the board on next Tuesday for approval. Do I have a motion on the table?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Dr. Science, if you can put this on the agenda for Tuesdays for approval.
Sure.
And then agenda item number 7, our update on fixed assets bathroom improvements. Dr. Garza?
I'm going to pass this over to Julie Perez, our Director of Maintenance and Operations, to review this.
Good evening, Board. I'd like to provide an update for the fixed assets restroom improvements. We have gone through a couple of delays here because of asbestos.
What? Excuse me.
Asbestos?
Okay.
We had to get testing done prior because this is a very old building. It wasn't even on the map for the city of Edinburgh when we went for permitting. So they had to deny that permit first so they could put it on the map. It's a very unique project building, actually. So with that being said, we went through the asbestos process. We got it abated. We went through the abatement process. It did not pass testing the first time. So when you file for the abatement, you have to wait a mandatory 10 days before you go into the abatement process. Once that's complete, you go abate, you test. It didn't pass, so we had to go and redo the abatement process. We did finally get all clear, so we were able to get in there. We added an ADA ramp scope of work to the fixed assets project. So that took 2 weeks, and we are now complete with that. And so the ramp is complete. We have railing there, all ADA compliant, all ready to go for anyone who needs ADA assistance, you know. With the restrooms, we are done breaking ground. We have demoed 6 walls, and we've also put up 3 walls. So next step is just our plumbing, minor electrical, and painting, and we go into the inspection process. So we are expected to be complete in the next 3 weeks, depending on the inspection process, but I am very confident that we will finish in the next 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yes.
That is, when was this project started?
Well, it was approved in April, and we had already started the asbestos process before then. Before we got the approval to move forward, we had started testing to see if there was asbestos first before we had to file for any abatement. And that was a process. When we got the results, we were ready to go. Once we got the okay, we started getting proposals. I will say that Canterbury hit. So we had to shift our priorities and move to the Parks and Rec. And it's the same guys who do all the projects. So I had to use all my resources to make sure that there was a smooth transition with the Canterbury project. So we were delayed in that sense, but other than that, as soon as school was out and we were moved out of Parks and Rec, we resumed immediately, and it has been nonstop since.
I'd like to give some history then. I asked Dr. Salinas or Dr. Garza, I think, I don't know who it was. Dr. Garza.
We did a walkthrough.
Dr. Garza, right?
You
to
and
meet me
myself.
there back in January because I went for the purpose that the roof needs a lot of work. Maybe we can, at some point, put that internally to where our guys can just put something on top or whatever, but water comes in, even worse than transportation.
Yes, sir.
And so there's a lot of issues there, you know, some might be insurance related. But and we saw the bathrooms, and this was where this was born, and I think the bathroom was gonna be possibly done somewhere else. That's when we saw that it was a septic tank. And so, I mean, it's just an old building.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been going on since January, but then all those things happened. And so that's why.
We are adding restrooms also for them, so it's going to be a nice setup once we're complete.
In the meantime, we're gonna have that staff here at the technology building until we complete that project.
So, Dr. Salinas, when you say that you're going to house that staff with the IT building, does that include all staff or just certain staff?
All staff.
All staff?
Yes.
All right.
Even the shipping clerks, todo.
Good.
Library services will be moving to IT. They already moved. They're going to be there for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
All staff,
2
Dr.
weeks.
Garza.
Yes.
Does they have a shipping and
All
receiving?
staff, Dr. Moreno.
Them too? All that, really? Wow.
Okay.
In the warehouse, not the warehouse people, that's right, Ms. Vela, just the
People in the
office.
offices.
Yes.
Yes. Because they're still kicking up dust and this
Right,
kind of
right,
thing.
And so you said it's, you think it'll be done in 3 weeks?
No, I'm very confident and it will be done.
Okay.
And dust is going to be done by tomorrow. We're done breaking. We've already put up walls, so that will subside.
If we have, Dr. Salinas, if it's in 3 weeks, an update,
Yes,
please to the president or to us. as-
Board, to the whole board.
As,
Yes.
as a whole board, so that we can know where we are on that.
We can bring some pictures and an update to a board meeting as soon as
That
it's
way we can
completed,
review it
so you
Tuesday.
can see it.
And get it done with all the compliance that needs to happen.
Absolutely.
So, because we don't want to take another 3 weeks that we're missing a handle or we're missing a railing. If we're going to go 3 weeks and we're going to move these staff over here, then make sure then that you do it picture perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from the board? No, sir. All right, with that being said, I'd like for us to go ahead and move for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Okay, the time is 6:15. We are adjourned for today's meeting.